We are going to study the embryology of the heart. Uh, we know that the heart is the first functional organ in the human bodies to develop, and it starts beating spontaneously by the fourth week of the development. And then there is the concept of cardiac looping. What is cardiac looping? Cardiac looping is basically the shifting of the heart from the right side to the left side. So during embryological stages, the heart is normally present on the right side of the body, but after birth, it is present on the left side of the body. So this procedure is brought about with the help of tannin proteins. These tannin proteins are the proteinaceous structures that helps to move from heart from the right side to the left side of the body. However, if there is defect in the tannin proteins, then a condition develops. That condition we call dextrocardia. And if this condition manifests in other organs such as the liver, the pancreas, the lungs, then this condition is known as the Cardiovascular syndrome. So we know that the heart is divided into four chambers. The upper two chambers are called the atria, the left atrium and the right atrium, and the lower two chambers are called the ventricles, the left ventricle and the right ventricle. So coming to atria, the upper two atria, that is the right atria and the left atria, they are separated through a hole. That hole is known as the ostium primum. And in order to close that hole, there is development of a septum. That septum is known as the septum primum. But eventually what happens is that there is subsequent formation of another hole within the septum primum because of degeneration of cells in the center. That here you can see between the green septum there is a communication developing. That second hole developed formation is known as the ostium secundum. And in order to close that ostium secundum, there is growth of another septum that is known as the septum secundum. So septum secundum is what eventually closes the hole in the heart. But during embryological life, there is the patency of this hole, which is important, which is crucial for the development of the body and growth of the body, because the blood is shifted from the right atrium to the left atrium through this hole, and this that is known as the patent foramen veil. However, after birth, we do not need this shunt to be happening, and there is closure of the hole. But if this hole does not close even after birth, that is in the postnatal period, and there is patency of this hole, then that condition is known as the atrial septal defect because of the defect in the interatrial septum. Moving on, we have ventricles. The ventricles are again divided into left ventricle and the right ventricle. These left ventricle and right ventricle, they are separated from each other through the formation of an interventricular foramen. However, this interventricular foramen is eventually closed through development of a muscular interventricular septum. This interventricular septum provides demarcation between the left ventricle and the right ventricle. So we are done with atria, we are done with ventricles. Now blood flows from the ventricles into the arteries. So the two major arteries, one of them is the aorta, which carries blood from the left ventricle, and another major artery is the pulmonary artery, which carries blood from the right ventricle. So just like atria, just like ventricles, the aorta and pulmonary artery, they are separated from each other through a aorticopulmonary septum. This septum helps divide the aorta from the pulmonary artery. This aortopulmonary septum also eventually joins with the muscular interventricular septum and forms another part of the interventricular septum that is known as the membranous interventricular septum. So the interventricular septum is formed of two parts. One of them is the muscular part and another is the membranous part. The membranous part is formed through the aorticopulmonary or episeptum. However, if there is persistence of this septum through after the birth, that is, there is not proper closure after birth, then it develops a condition that is known as the ventricular septal defect. And ventricular septal defect is the most common congenital cardiac abnormality present after birth. And then we have holes. There are four types of holes. One of them is the aortic hole, another is the pulmonary hole, then we have the mitral hole and the tricuspid hole. Aortic and pulmonary holes divide the left and right ventricle from the aorta and the artery respectively. The mitral hole provides a junction between the left atrium and the left ventricle. Tricuspid hole provides a junction between the right ventricle the right atria. If there is abnormal stiffening of the walls, then that condition is known as the stenosis. You can see here this stenosis is the abnormal stiffening of the walls. Any of the four walls can be involved. However, aortic and mitral are the most common walls node, and likewise, regurgitation is the condition in which the holes are not patent enough to stop the blood supply, and there is abnormal movement of blood between the atria, ventricles, and the arteries. So that condition is known as regurgitation, and it can again involve any of the four mentioned walls. Then we have aortic arch derivatives. There are six aortic arch derivatives. However, the fifth one, that is rudimentary and it doesn't develop, so it is regressed. So we are left over with five aortic arch derivatives only. The first aortic arch derivative is the maxillary artery, which supplies the face. Second one is the stapedial, which supplies the middle ear canal. The third one is the common carotid artery that eventually develops into external carotid artery and internal carotid artery. The fourth one forms the aortic arch on the left side and the right subclavian artery on the right side. And sixth one forms the pulmonary artery on the right side and ductus arteriosus on the left side. So we need to know what is ductus arteriosus. Ductus arteriosus is basically a communication between the aorta and the pulmonary artery. So ductus arteriosus is basically a communication between the aorta and pulmonary artery that is kept patent during the embryological life with the help of prostaglandins. So prostaglandins E1 and prostaglandin E2 are the major prostaglandins that helps to keep this ductus arteriosus, that connection between the aorta and pulmonary artery, patent. And now we have to understand what is the fetal circulation. So in order to understand fetal circulation, we need to know that the fetal circulation is derived from the umbilical vein. Umbilical vein carries the most of the about 80% oxygenated blood from the mother to the fetus. This umbilical vein, this oxygenated blood from the umbilical vein, is now passed into the inferior vena cava with the help of ductus venosus. Most of the highly oxygenated blood reaching the heart via the inferior vena cava is then directed from the foramen ovale into the left atrium, and from left atrium it goes into the left ventricle, and from left ventricle it goes into the aorta and then carotid subclavian artery and the supplying the limbs and the brain of the body. And what's the function of ductus arteriosus is that some of the blood passes from the right atria to the right ventricle, and from the right ventricle, since the lungs are not well developed, so it has to pass to the aorta again, bypassing the lungs. So that bypass is provided through the ductus arteriosus that we discussed before. And again, the ductus arteriosus patency is kept with the help of prostaglandins.